I'm Keon,
And I'm Sal.
sharing founder insights to turn uncommon challenges into collective wins.
Welcome
to the Uncommonality Podcast.
Good morning.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Uncommonality Podcast. I'm your co-host Keon Alberto with my co-host Sal Perez, and today we are at 19 at the Warehouses, and we are doing this new thing where we're going to be showcasing a lot of the cool businesses around the local area. We're currently in Rockville today, and we have founder Harrison Dixon with us, and unfortunately the co-founder Charles Colson was a little sick, so he won't be able to join us today, but we still want to be able to show off the space, show off the business, and learn a lot from them.
So for the viewers here, Harrison and I are actually very, very close friends. We went to college together, studied financial planning together. We did bachelor parties together. I was at his wedding. We've had some good fun over the years, and to see him build something to this extent, especially in an area that means a lot to us, is phenomenal to see. So personally, this one's exciting for me, and Harrison, thanks for helping out.
Yeah, a lot of good memories. Yeah, we go way back. Keon, great to have you here at Space, and we're really excited to get going. Let you know a little bit what we're about and how we do things around here.
Yeah, man, it's really cool being here. Like, just walking in, it's a really cool space. Like, just seeing all the bays with the simulators that you have, and then the cool little lounge area over here. Like, it's really inviting. I'm loving it. So thanks for having us, dude.
Yeah, try to kind of marry the high-tech simulators with the industrial vibe. A lot of history in this building. So really proud of how the space turned out. Had a lot of help with the design, and we've been having a lot of fun here.
I love the colors too. The logos, the colors, like the greens. It's really cool, man.
I mean, it's a nice vibe in here, and we kind of already alluded to this, but community is a big thing for you. And you grew up in the area. You're very, very familiar with your roots here. I mean, your family, which I know you'll dive into, but just to give some context for your background, tell us a little bit about your personal journey.
So born and raised Rock Hill, South Carolina, right here. Got a lot of family history here. Mother's side, part of the founding families in Rock Hill. Got a street named after her maiden name and all. And then, a lot of roots here, of course. And then you got married. My wife, we were high school sweethearts, and her family and her played a big part of this journey, as they are part of the building Rock Hill as it is right now. So this space that we're in was a cotton warehouse for Mr. Carhartt Cotton.
Yeah.
And this was his warehouse. The big factory was over across the street there. And, there's really a lot of history here. Well, this building was restored. As you can see, we tried to keep a lot of the original integrity, marry the new technology with that old integrity. Yeah, roots in Rock Hill, went to high school here. I did go off to college at the University of South Carolina for a few years. Great time down there. Had a little bit too much fun. And then, moved back here because Winthrop was actually very, well off in financial planning at Sal, as of course. It's where we really hit it off and got to be good friends. So, I was really, really happy to move back to the hometown, graduate from Winthrop, and got a job right out of college, and been working in financial planning, and really just I like to work on computers and spreadsheets, and I like the way numbers work, and watching the way numbers move, and this was kind of like a fortunate stroke of fortune that this space came available, and of course we knew the landlord. And as soon as that happened, kind of looked at my wife and looked at the landlord, the grandfather, and said, hey, let's do something really fun, and let's do something cool with this space. And a few years later, here we are.
Love that, man. How does it feel to impact the community that you grew up in? I feel like not a lot of people get to have that experience and get to feel that and explore that. I think that's super cool. You grew up here. You live here, you know the culture, you even know the culture of the building, and now you're here and you're impacting the community. What's that like?
It was only till a few years ago that Rock Hill started getting a little a little too big to where you don't know everyone when you go out to a restaurant. It used to be, you know everyone when you go out somewhere, and you know that small town feel. And we are growing a good bit, but we still have that small town feel, and especially we've been able to capitalize on that here because people that have watched me grow up, old babysitters, family friends, they come here and they hang out for happy hour. They support the business. They get bays. They play in our golf tournaments. They bring their family. They bring their friends. So it feels like a not only like a community, but a community network that we've developed, and Charles as well. Charles been in Rock Hill his whole life. We met right down the road. We actually went elementary school together.
Wow.
So it's very close to the heart what we have here, and like I was saying, it just brings the community together, and that's our goal: is to see smiling faces, share a few beverages together, have some friendly competition, hopefully just grow the community. And the applications here, we're just getting started, scratching the surface. Business sponsorships, things like that, business events, birthday parties are low hanging fruit here. That we've had a ton of those already. We actually hosted a carnival here for a local business. So just bringing people together. That was the the foundational pillar that got us started on what should we do, and marry golf with a few beverages. And it brings people together, and that's how we really started blazing our trail.
I think there's a lot to pull out of that. From a personal note for the viewers, Rock Hill, South Carolina is about 20 minutes, depending on who's driving, away from Charlotte. And I went to play college soccer there. Co-founder Charles Colson, I played with him at Winthrop University as well. So we all have very close ties. And from a personal note, one thing that I can say is Rock Hill has a very homey feel to it. I remember I got here in 2014 for my first collegiate season, and something was special about Rock Hill. I was welcomed immediately. No one ever had any ill will. The Southern hospitality is different. There's so many things that, in all honesty, if I weren't living in Charlotte, just because of the business, because of the financial planning, this would probably be my next one up. And it's because of some of the roots that we built and some of the connections. So hearing you say that and bring that full circle is beautiful to hear.
It's kind of weird when you cross over that state line. You don't think it's much because it's a 25-minute drive, but the vibe does shift a little bit.
100%.
Whenever you get down into Rock Hill, it's a great thing. The city has always treated me well, and that was one of mine and Charles's mottos, is to give back to the city that's been so generous to us. We're so blessed with family, friends that all surround us, uplift us, and it's the community here is great. And we'll get into later how maybe the challenges that the city and permitting process has, but everyone's supportive from a personal standpoint. There are some challenges to opening businesses and permitting. Rock Hill's particular about how they do business. So we did face some of those challenges, but everybody puts a smile on their face and helps you out. And that's they want you to succeed. They want you to do well here, and that's what's driving us and what's important.
Yeah, I think the thing that I want to note about that is pretty evident, just kind of how passionate you are about not only the business but also Rock Hill, right? And I think when people can see the passion, people can see the love and the engagement that you offer in terms of the genuity of what you're doing, it's a lot easier to support and work with, right? So like us being here, like I can feel your energy resonating about this place, and you're talking about it and your eyes are lighting up, and it's like, why wouldn't I want to work with you? Why wouldn't I want to support you? Why wouldn't I want to come here and like see what's up? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's beautiful, just like feel and see.
Yeah, and I think before we dive into the business side of it, obviously we go way back, and I know the history maybe give us a little bit of background. Did you always know you wanted to do something along these lines? Hell, did you even know you really wanted to do financial planning as well? Because this is like very niche.
Honestly, I live. I started kind of a motto: living my life, a day at a time. You put your best foot forward every day. You try to make every day better than the last. I did not know really what I wanted to do until freshman year of college. I knew I wanted to be in the financial industry. Like I mentioned, I like the way numbers work. I always had a affinity for entertainment, going to concerts, festivals, shows, whatever it may be, and how those work, logistics behind them, bringing people together, and just having fun. And at one point, I thought being a DJ might be, not my that would fill my cup, honestly. So, it's been a random walk, and I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I started off washing cars whenever I was like 9 years old with a buddy. We had business cards made. We called it the car wash guys. And we went to a local print shop actually down the road on Main Street, and had the owner help us with the design and all that. So I've had an entrepreneurial spirit all throughout my life. I actually used to sell candy in middle school. Used to bring a backpack of candy bars, and at lunch, delve out candy bars, behind the trees, and around the back, under the table, so we didn't get caught by the principal. But used to walk home with maybe $40-50 cash a day from flipping some candy bars, about $1 a piece. But yeah, all jokes aside, always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and just knew that the entertainment mindset paired with the entrepreneurial spirit was something to make a business out of, rather than a career. So I do love my career, and I love helping people doing financial planning. As you both probably know, it's it's a powerful thing. But I do work out of town in Fort Mill, right up the road, and I was missing a little bit of a connection to Rock Hill. And as I mentioned, as this space came available, it just kind of brought me closer to home, and that was it really started to fill my cup of having a presence down here, seeing growing the community, and really just being around the people that I know, and that love me and show me and our families and our friends a lot of love. And just being rooted where you're from is just important mindset to me.
I love that, man. And I just want to touch on something there. And you looked at me real quick. So it seems like we have a coined term here on the Uncommonality podcast. So every single one of the people that we've had on so far, the amazing guests, every single one of them happen to have this thing that we like to coin the zigzag route. Okay? So the zigzag route is, everybody tends to have these journeys where they don't think they're going to end up where they end up, and then we all end up where we are. And it's like, when you really think about it and we start diving into all of their journeys, it makes sense as to each one was a stepping stone to the next to get us to where we were. But nobody has ever had that linear line of, this is what I wanted to do when I got there. From me to Sal to Courtney to Sean to Juan to Co, and it just keeps going. And now you talking about it is like, I always had a entrepreneur mind. I was doing this, now I'm doing financial planning, and then I'm also opening up this. It just keeps going linearly or unlinearly. And I think it's just because of something that, if I've noticed, in my opinion, is the tenacity to just keep going. We're able to find something, bounce off of it, roll the punches, take the lessons, and then positively roll forward to the next.
Sure.
And you just keep building off of that, learning lessons, and preparing yourself for whatever that next opportunity that's going to come.
Zigzag route.
Zigzag route.
The zigzag route,
Yeah.
exactly.
The coin term. Y'all might need to get some merch.
Yeah.
Zigzag route.
Look at him.
Hey, look at him. Hey, he's got all the merch already. He's trying to get us on it.
Commonality zigzag route.
That's funny.
Yeah. Do a little zigzag logo or something like that.
I love that.
Speaking of logos, how we like the branded stuff. Yeah,
It's the best.
Got them in some 19th
Man,
here.
for me, the color is my favorite
Yeah.
thing. Like, I love green, It's one of my favorite colors. Like I've worn a green LA Dodgers hat on the podcast probably multiple times already, and so like this, when you showed me this, I was like, all right, can I wear that? I need to put that on.
Good. Golf course vibes, with the green, nice greens.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
And it's like a vibe. You said something in there about combining the historical context, that the integrity of the building with some of the modern technology we see. Obviously, for you guys can't see us viewers in the camera, but if anyone were to visit, these bays are beautiful. They are beautiful. I mean, we're looking at them right now, and the tech is pretty impressive. What have you noticed from a either Rock Hill standpoint, Charlotte standpoint? I mean, because since I've gotten into here in 2014, the growth has been exponential, absolutely exponential. And the way it looks now in 2025 to how it looked even 2018 when I graduated is night and day. What have you noticed?
Yeah, I mean, we're a suburb of Charlotte, plainly put. Even though we're across the border, like we mentioned, the border vision line, it does mean something, but we're still a suburb of Charlotte, and Charlotte's just had a vast growth, and we're part of that. We're the community in Rock Hill is part of that, and we've benefited from Charlotte, but also from our locals, just innovating, having a great mindset, a great attitude, and helping each other out. And there's a lot of small businesses here that thrive. And there's also a lot of people that work in Charlotte that commute up there. So we are a great melting pot of, the suburb with a, developing community that supports one another. And I think, that's important to have those two facets of growth. It's pushing growth up from multiple legs, and of course I'm a proponent of the community and growing where you are. But Charlotte has come across the border and started to pick out spots, and the commercial real estate market here is getting pretty crazy. We have the Thread right across the road over there. About to open up, and it's just a restored factory building. They really it's going to be a great addition to this block. They've also got a lot of plans for this whole district, which they call Knowledge Park. We're kind of at the top of it, but you go more towards Cherry Road, which is a main road in Rock Hill, from Dave Lyle Boulevard to Cherry Road. And you can access both of those off the interstate, and that's really part of the growth as well. It's just being right next to a major interstate, being right off of it, and capitalizing on the opportunity of not only people coming and going, but passing through, and just seeing what we're about. And once people pass through, and you give them the old Rock Hill smile, Southern hospitality. It's hard to beat, and they say, oh, these people are kind of different, and they do things a little different. So, the growth of the city has just been incredible, and I attribute that to just the community, the family, the friendship that everybody holds on to here, as well as just Charlotte in general, kind of eating us up.
I love that. I mean, so it's interesting. The term growth that you're mentioning there, I think it's interesting because I kind of see Charlotte in a light like that. So I'm originally from Jersey, and my city is New York originally, right? So that's what I coined as home. And for me, when I walk into New York, I'm inspired anytime I walk in because everything is bigger than me. Everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Even the amount of people are bigger than me. People walking by the street don't look twice, don't say hi, nothing, right? And so for me, it's almost a motivating factor of you're so small, try to do something. And when I've come to Charlotte, and I would say Rock Hill and South Carolina has influence on Charlotte as well, right? Sure. I've come into Charlotte, and the thing that I noticed about Charlotte that I believe in so firmly and love about the ecosystem that we have there is the fact that you see new buildings pop up every single day. It's physical growth that you can see, feel, and it even changes your daily walking life there, whatever it might be, right? And so that growth for me is inspiring to keep pushing and doing whatever it is that we're doing there. And I actually think it affects the ecosystem and how we're growing. And the thing that I love about it is the mix of the Southern hospitality and the Northern grit, because Charlotte itself is a mix of mostly Northerners, Southerners coming into this place. And we call it, like, up north, we call it the halfback state, North Carolina, because everybody went down to Florida and then they settled back up here in North Carolina. And so it's just a beautiful mix of place, because from the north, you have the grit and the drive to go and accomplish things and follow your dreams and do whatever it is you want to do. But then you also have everybody supporting each other, and that support system and community, like you said, that comes from that Southern feel of things and that Southern touch. So I'm interested to ask, like, in terms of the Rock Hill community and the growth, do you physically feel that embodiment, and does it inspire you to kind of keep going and keep building within the community?
Yeah, absolutely. The businesses that kind of laid the groundwork of this new growth. I mean, to name a few, the Slow Place, the Legal Remedies, Rob over at Counter, Chef Rob, great guy. And each one of those businesses have inspired what we have here. A little bit of everything. And I leaned on Rob a good bit to talk about opening a restaurant, because this is something I'd never done before. In South Carolina, the liquor laws, you have to serve hot food. You have to be a restaurant. So we are technically a restaurant here, even though we don't hang our hat on being a restaurant. We make a pretty good pizza, or you should try our hot honey grilled cheese, which was a specialty that me and my wife kind of dreamed up. Some mozzarella and bacon, honey hot sauce. It's actually hard to beat, but
That actually sounds
that
sounds really good, actually.
Things that are hard to mess up. But anyway, it just, the businesses that came before us in this new spurt of growth have definitely played an influence on lifting each other up. And we have Instagram groups or email threads of the downtown local businesses, and we're all trying to work together in some capacity. We may be competitors in some way, but we've all framed it as we're complementary to each other. And I think that's important, because competition also breeds like innovation, and competition breeds, doing the best that you can. So, iron sharpens iron kind of mentality. And if you see somebody down the road doing well, you should be doing well too, because if not, you're not going to make it. But also, everybody can eat here. We don't shy away, and it's not an ugly competition. It's a friendly competition. And big ups to all the local businesses. Hoppin' that recently moved down here, their franchise. Of course, there's a Charlotte presence there.
South End.
They actually gave us some gift cards to sponsor our new upcoming league that we're starting next week.
Nice.
Which is another application here. We're gonna have a real live tournament each week for members of a golf league.
How do you sign up? Talk about it.
Plug it.
Plug it. Look at the camera. Talk about it.
We're almost full. We're almost full. We have had it's been a little bit of a market education piece of what you can do, but the TGO Golf League, actually, the new Tiger Woods league that you can watch on Tuesday nights. That has actually, since the past 3 or 4 weeks that it's been going, it has spurred so much inquiries about, you can do kind of this stuff. We actually use the same technology, full swing simulators that they use in that golf league. So, message us on Instagram. You give us a call. We should be able to fit a league in. If not, we'll open up a new one. We're growing, and it's baby steps. As I mentioned, you just take a step every day, and you try to put your best foot forward. And the leagues are something that we're really excited about, especially with it really cold outside. No one's really going to play golf on a golf course, so you got to stay sharp between the winter months if you want to be ready for the spring and the Masters and all that. So indoor golf.
I
That's
love
and indoor golf is actually the term that does best with SEO. We did a lot of that. Opened it up, did a lot of market research, and indoor golf plays better with all the Googlers out there rather than golf simulator or whatever it may be. But yeah, indoor golf is how we have branded the language here. Yeah.
I think there's a lot to pull out of that. So one thing that I think this is borderline a founder key, right? You said iron sharpens iron and competition breeds innovation. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to look at the camera and say founder key.
Founder key.
Competition breeds innovation.
Competition breeds innovation. That is a founder key.
I love that. And
That was
but you
good, man.
said it.
That was good, man.
Yeah, that was really
That was good, man.
But you said it in a way that it's not stepping over people, right? You even acknowledged, you said, yeah, maybe in a certain sense we're all competition, but there's plenty of land for everyone.
Everybody can eat.
Everyone can eat.
Everybody can eat.
And
That's exactly right.
I think that embodies this Southern hospitality mentality that so many people are attracted to, right? That so many people in this area, at least from what I've seen, adopt. And you can see it in the warm welcoming. You can see it in the warm business. You can see it in the quality service. And I absolutely love that.
Comes from like a position of love rather than spite or competition. It's just it is all love, and to me that's how you do business. That's how you do life. Is everybody can work together and you can accomplish something great. So yeah, it is that is a proponent of not only myself but Rock Hill, how I've been raised, and of course y'all can through talking through it. It is ingrained in me. But born and raised here. Something that maybe about my Southern upbringing and my Rock Hill upbringing, but also just from a personal level. I just believe you always bring the best attitude that you can to things, and good things will come. And, kind of the karma type beliefs, but even greater than that, you just push others to be their best, and you lead by example. That's something my father always told me is. He always used to say, be the smartest one in the room, talk the least, and lead by example rather than saying what you're going to do. So big ups to my father and all the great in my father-in-law, all the great influences that not only helped me become the man who I am, but start this place and really start to succeed and grow into a new person.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, honestly, same thing. My father too, big influence on my life. I feel like you as well.
Yeah.
I want to start diving into this a little further. So, like, 19th at the warehouses.
Yep.
Right. I'm sure this process was very difficult to come by. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of confusing decisions to make, mistakes along the way, learning lessons, etc., etc. So, like, how did this come to be? Like, how did you guys, you ended up bringing Colson on? Like, how did you guys put this together? What were some of the struggles you faced, and what were some of the lessons you learned from stuff like that?
It all started like a New Year's 22, like a conversation over some beers. Really, it was just like a smoke and mirrors, kind of like, oh, this would be cool. Then the space came available. And then, it kind of, looked and felt like something could happen. And not to mention, I had kids. It was in the process of having a son. He was born January of 23. But kind of all throughout that year, we were talking about something. And kids inspire you. That they do, to work harder, to be better, to lead by example. So yeah, started to, really form this, idea of, let's do something fun. We can put our resources together. And then I just got busy on spreadsheets. I got busy reading. Of course, I kind of mentioned, the hurdles of permitting. Liquor liability is also a huge one. In South Carolina, it's hard to get a liquor license. And I'd always been told that. And, whenever I said this is what I want to do, people were like, oh, well, good luck getting your liquor license. It is about 50 steps that you have to do. Apply for this, apply for that. You put a notice out in the newspaper. You have to, wait multiple days. It's a lot. So, filed for the LLC May of 22. And then, really took all of 22, just to kind of think it out. And yet 23 is where, we hit the ground. May 23 is when we filed for the LLC. We had already kind of had the plans all of 22. Just running it back here feels like a blur, guys.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
So, and it happened quick. So after the space came available, we moved quick. We started with branding first and kind of did our own thing. The logos that you see now, we actually, had, a marketing package done for all that. But we started with our own little logos that we made on, Photoshop and Canva and stuff. Having the progression of even doing that and then figuring out this is kind of really getting serious. That was really kind of what it was. We kept taking steps forward, one step forward at a time. As I mentioned, we kept taking steps forward. We have a new logo. We're printing koozies. We're starting to talk about the space and how we could design it, and then we started doing simulator research because there's multiple types of golf simulators that you can have. There's franchises as well. So it all just kind of started, piecing together. And it's kind of the zigzag route of what's this over here? You got to think about this. And then, well, did you think about the liquor license? And then, had to sit down with my grandfather-in-law, my father-in-law, and they said, you're a recent father of two. You got two little kids. When are you going to have time to open a business? And that's really where, the puzzle pieces started to get a little bit blurry. I didn't really think of, what all it would take. And I needed some help. So I fished around. We're lucky to have a great entrepreneur next door, Ryan Sanderson of Knowledge Pro Coffee. He's opened up about 6 locations across North and South Carolina. Talked to him. He was a great influence. And utilizing your network is one of the biggest things. I will say, founder key almost. You utilize your network. I'm not going to say your net worth is your net worth because that's corny. But utilize your network. Play your cards that you have.
For this interview, we should say community.
Yeah.
Because community is
Your
community.
Yeah, your community. Yeah, and I actually took over one of his startups while he was opening that as a college summer internship. So it's been, we've been rotating around. But yes, so I actually got a little bit of advice from Ryan next door. Great guy, great entrepreneur, a lot of respect for him. And it kind of started seeming like Ryan was ready to take the idea and run with it. So, as some would consider, you've entered the Shark Tank.
Yep.
And at that point, I felt like we had a good idea and something good. And I looked inward, and talked to some friends, had some really, deep conversations. And as I mentioned, I couldn't do this by myself. So I was looking for some help. And, that's where Charles really fit into the picture. He was really eager to, learn something new, do something new. He'd been working in Charlotte, be in Rock Hill, be a little bit more local. And, that's kind of where we hit the ground running. Kind of like, July and September of 23. And then after that, architects, liquor license, contractors, permitting, everything was just like, boom, something new every day, a challenge. Something to overcome, and it was it was a blur, as I mentioned.
I think that was phenomenal. There was so much to pull out of that.
Break that down.
Yeah, there's a lot to break down.
Went for a few bars there.
No, I'm like, you put in a few bars
That
over
was
here. DJ Bach. I think one thing that it's a little bit more contrary to most people's advice, and I know this from your personal journey, is most people say do not get into business with family or very, very close friends because
Sure.
that's going to put a strain on the relationship.
Yeah.
But you almost have the opposite take, which I'm sure to a certain extent you've thought about this, but your take is more, this is my community, this is where I was raised, you know, it is an alienating process, but you know, I've met Taylor's father, I've met your father-in-law, fantastic business owners as a whole, Williams and Fudge across the bottom. And just to give Taylor her flowers as well, here in Rock Hill, she owns her own salon called Bleachery. So if you're ever in the area and you need a phenomenal hairstylist,
Not to mention she designed the space.
Yeah.
I got to give her flowers there too. You know, all the bookshelves and all the things and the colors and the vibe here. Big. My wife was super influential, and more than just that, pushing me as well. But yeah, absolutely.
of course. So
Business owner, she rocks it. She does hair. She's a great mom. Love her to death. She's inspiring too.
and I love her as well. Knowing what you know now, what have you learned about working with family and friends and the fundraising? Because this is not a cheap venture by any means. I mean, between the simulators, between the space, between the liquor license, between everything, what have you learned looking back at it?
Yeah, everything costs more than you think it's going to. And projections are projections for a reason, right? So you can do work on spreadsheets all day. You can use live plan, business app, you know, cash flow projections, startup projections. But until you get in there, until you start having some what about this, what about that, or the city, kind of throw you those curveballs that they did, and even the simulator. So just to expand on that, the floors here, they used to be all wooden, and you see the wood around here. We actually kept and reclaimed the wood, so we faced the bar with it. The table's right over there. All the wood pretty much around here was the original floors that Mr. Carhart had in his factory. Well, the simulator bays needed a complete flat surface to sit on, and that was something we didn't discover until we got in with the simulator architects after our architects had already done their piece. Well, then we had to kind of go back and take a few steps back, and that's just to kind of what you're saying is like all the challenges. Well, working with multiple teams, trying to overlay and string this thing together and pretty much weave it together. From a design standpoint and a regulation standpoint, that was tough in itself. And then you mentioned fundraising. Everything costs more, as I said. And, we had a budget, we had commitments from some family and some friends, and, just some buzz from, the community. But we did hit a few challenges, on the way, knowing that not only from our landlord's sake of him having to do a little bit more with the plumbing and whatever it may be on his side, that kind of he was responsible for. He said he would take responsibility for, which was great. And most landlords or commercial real estate do give you an upfitting type of allowance, and that's standard for anyone who wants to kind of open a business or their own retail space. You only get a little bit of allowance if you're going to commit to a lease. Which I really didn't know until only all by square foot, and they have their own process, and I'm very entry level to there, but you learn a little bit about how commercial real estate network runs whenever you're about to rent a space. But also fundraising. So that was part of the fundraising is the landlord essentially. Then it was how do we purchase these simulators? So we ended up saying, doing some cash flow models. You can rent these things out. Of course, that's our model. You can just similar to a Top Golf or an X Golf, whatever it may be. And we kind of played on those models, of what those look like, and you use your resources and like what's in front of you. People have of course had success and done things. So, done things like this before, not exactly like this, but we're not reinventing the wheel here. So we're just trying to put our spin on something successful and cool. And as soon as people saw that, that's when the bit of confidence came for fundraising, for, oh yeah, I'll sign off on helping you on a loan. I'll give you a little bit of a loan. What is it for? Of course you have to write proposals, and you have to write thank you notes, and letters, and all the different things that come with getting granted a check or a handshake or whatever that may be. You got to earn it, and you have to not only paint the dream, but you got to show how you're about it. You have to show dreams are great, but you also have to show how it's going to work. So putting in some projections, of course. But yeah, you can see, you always got to shoot conservatively when you're opening up stuff, because you never want to aim high and miss high. You want to aim small and miss small. And that's another, I'll say, a founder key.
I like
I
that.
love the founder.
He loves the founder key.
Credit to the Patriot, Mel Gibson, aim small, miss small. That actually is take that from the classic movie, The Patriot. I actually filmed in Rock Hill, so there's another Rock Hill plug. The classic movie there. But yeah, so you do have to kind of earn it, and you have to show people that you're serious, because no one's going to write you a check and say, go get him, Tiger, and not expect anything back, or whatever it is. So you got to put in your time.
Yeah. So 2 things from me on that. That was again amazing.
That's great.
2 things. One, I'll start with is believe in the founder. Right. So one thing I've learned in my journey and just speaking to all these people, including yourself, talking about it, is the fact that the business is the founder. The business is the people that are putting it together. It's not the product. It's not necessarily always the brand. It's the emotions. It's the feelings. It's the genuity of the people. And that's what people tend to buy into. And so I don't think that's something we've necessarily talked about too much on this podcast, but it's something that's definitely true and something that definitely translates. And so you talking about, oh, well, we have to do this, we have to do this, and if I just go and ask for this money, people are going to give it to me. Well, man, the way that you're just talking about all this stuff makes me want to come and support it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're the founder. It's like, I believe you. You talk to me, I believe you. I believe you're going to stay here forever. I believe this thing's going to go crashing. You're not going to let it happen. You know what I mean? Because it's the founder that's at the very core of this. And I think I might have said this on another podcast, but I definitely put this on LinkedIn, because sometimes I like to bother people on LinkedIn, is while the MVP, the minimum viable product, is extremely important to whatever business you're creating, right? And that's the initial starting point to go and build whatever it is you're going to build. The most important thing is the founder. They're the real MVP, because that's where everything starts, that's where everything finishes, and that's where everything grows and develops. So for me, you talking about that, I just wanted to make a note, because I don't think we've ever necessarily noted that before. Sure. And then the other thing that I absolutely love, we harped on so many times, is the fact that you're just starting to take the step forward and just go. You don't know about the projections, right? You don't know what's going to happen until you take that step. You don't know what things are going to cause until you take that step. You don't know what problems you're going to have until you take that first step. And then it's, all right, roll with the punches. How flexible can I be? How bendable can I be? Where's my mentality at? Can I control all this stuff, handle it, and keep going? And that's where it really makes a difference. So for me, those 2 things that you mentioned within that, and I extrapolated, I needed to highlight because they're amazing.
I agree, and I think the Courtney Bensinger had said this on episode 2, and she said, every day you kind of wake up and you just don't know how you're making it. But then you wake up the next day and then you're in that same position. I don't know how we're making it. And then you wake up the next day. I don't know how we're making it. And that seems to have been the theme there. And from a practical business advice, which I think is beautiful in what you said, is however much you think it's going to cost to start a business, you add 30 to 50% on top of that, right? Because, and even then, it might be another 25% on top of that, yes. And I guess from a maybe business practicality standpoint, how did you approach those situations, right? Because for a lot of people, a barrier to entry is funding. A barrier to entry is the money. And maybe they have it on their own, maybe they don't, maybe they need to find it, or maybe they can't really pitch the passion, they really can't pitch the idea, which ties back into how important the founder is in and of itself. So knowing what we know about you, how did you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, leveraging resources, leveraging community is really the best way to put an umbrella over it. Whether that's some savings I had. I was into the crypto craze, made a small bit of money there. I was not in early by any means, but of course, being in financial management, I like to be diversified across a bunch of asset classes, and I pretty much dumped all my savings, into this thing to show I was real about it, and my wife, of course, helped. And then, as we caught some steam, friends, all of our 6 partners here, 6 partners here. Of course, Charles had a big stake in putting some of his savings in. So yeah, a little bit about savings, but also a lot about going to really get it organically. Traditional bank loans, pitches to others, and we developed kind of halfway through or 3/4 of the way through this process when we learned it was going to be maybe almost double the cost that we thought. We innovated. So this lifetime membership we sold. So again, the network, the community, we kind of pitched it to family and friends and their family and friends to have a one-time fee up front, and then you get full and complete access to simulators. You get an event here each year to shut down the place yourself, and don't let me forget to talk about how we've turned into really a private event space. But the lifetime membership was something we kind of innovated, and we had to find a price discovery point. We were there's a place in Charlotte called In Town Golf, and it's a fully private one of these. We kind of took their model and the model of X Golf, so now we developed this membership concept. It was in order to raise money, but also in order to eventually grow into the potential of a private club, to leave room for growth. So you never try to cast a straight line and think you're gonna hit the target in business. It's always that zigzag route. So you do take these short little wins that you can overcome the hurdles. And that lifetime membership that we developed, we sold ourselves short essentially. We gave a great deal to family and friends, of course, and it's people that we want here. And that keep our target market, keep our vibe, keep it a family friendly spot. They're not going to hurt the place. They respect this, the technology, and respect everything here that we put into it. So we did, from a dollar standpoint, we did sell ourselves short a little bit, but it was really more about getting a few extra dollars in order to get across that line. For the kitchen equipment, for the bar stools that we wanted, the granite that my wife said we had to have the 5-inch granite rather than the 3-inch granite. So things like that. They presented the challenges, and back to the funding. So number one, it's good to have savings yourself. Number 2, it's good to have a network, and number 3. After you kind of put those things together, then comes innovation to me. Because if you put yourself into it, and then you have that much commitment, others will come. You've got to prove it to them. Like I said, it doesn't come easy. No one's just going to write you a check, but you've got to cross that plane of, okay, now others are interested. They believe in the idea. Well, after that, then you have to start to innovate. The people who have already supported you, you have to show them that you've got that grit, that earning potential, that you're not going to stop. You can't roll over. effort in something like this. You have to keep putting your feet forward every day, innovate, and find a way through. And that's what we did with that kind of lifetime membership. They're still currently on our website, actually. They're listed for a little bit more, but we are going to close that offering because we see as an exclusive group, and also it's just friends and family and people that just show us a bit of confidence, which was means the world to us now, because we wouldn't have done it without that extra close to $80,000 that we raised from that kind of membership aspect.
I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? I think in a lot of senses, when people are going and they start their seed rounds, their pre-seed rounds of whatever it is when they're building their businesses, they tend to start with friends and family funding. And that's always the place at the heart, because those are the people that have known you and know you. So those are the ones that are going to be able to judge you the most and be like, no, I believe in this. I buy into you. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a little bit here, a little bit there. So that's a great model to go by. Yeah. I think something that you guys didn't go upon, but it made me think of again for the community, is the bootstrap. We haven't really talked about bootstrap on this show a lot, and I think it's another way that people can go about whatever it is they're going to do. There's a very traditional route, which I think you followed, which is the model that's going to succeed. It's the best way to go about it, because in my eyes, it's the easiest way to go about it, even though none of this is easy at all. Yeah. But bootstrap is where people tend to really grit down, and they're like, this is not what it's going to be at all, but this is where I got to start just to build some level of money. So like people who may not be able to get the friends and family, people who may not be able to start with the bank loans and be able to roll out some cash that they have, you got to just start with something super, super simple, right?
And I honestly can jump in right there and expand on that. So yeah, we were blessed to be able to start with the top-notch simulators. There's smaller simulators that you can get. Yeah. And there's different setups that you could do. It doesn't inhibit you from doing things. And if you put together the right idea and the right, you could, take this concept and shrink it down to a pop-up at a festival, to where somebody's hitting on one of these portable kits that are, just, a few $1,000s, and you build a name for yourself that way, and do competitions, buy in, $5 to see if you can win that, the $1,000 hole in one, and do that maybe at a festival or a pop-up or where, a business function, and market yourself that way and grow that way, then build some revenue and build your name, build your brand, make some friends along the way. And that's if I were to have bootstrapped it, that's probably the way that I would have done it, is started really small with one of the smaller golf simulators, and then built up and worked my way up to here.
Exactly.
Yeah, that great concept, and that's the American dream right there, right? It's like you gotta sometimes have that grit and put it in to make a name for yourself, and not say didn't bootstrap some of this. It just also very blessed in the connections and the research and everything that I've done. So there's always a proponent of bootstrapping any sort of business. I'll go ahead and say that, but sometimes you have to completely 100% bootstrap.
Like a full-on bootstrap.
And
I think that was a great point that you made, right? Because it's like that if you go out and you were to do a competition or something like that, well, the brand exposure is a value of revenue to some capacity. And then also that revenue that you're going to make small levels, you can start to save here and there. And then that starts to be the generating money that you start throwing back in, funneling, and it's almost like a friends and family.
Right. I mean, at that point, when you're doing it yourself, you won't have the expenses as well, the very large expenses. So yeah, that's a way to that's going forward. Helping you bootstrap things is you start off low revenue, but also low expenses, and really time is your biggest value add there. If you put in the time and the effort, that's where you can profit, and you can get that alpha of really earning that next level of, okay, the profit's rolling in. What else can we do? And you really just find the right mix of that revenue and expenses to grow. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. As we've mentioned multiple times, you take a little baby step every day towards where you're going. And we're not done here yet. I mean, we've tapped into so many different markets, events. We had a carnival here for each bay. There's 6 bays here. Each bay was a different mini game. And we were more than just golf, of course. These simulators did a lot of research and mentioned that they have skee ball, dodgeball, break the plates, traditional bottle toss carnival games. And we had a carnival here. Each bay was a different game. And the employees of the business went through every bay, and then they went outside, out back, had cotton candy, and it was a full indoor carnival that we had here. But yeah, that goes to show you like how we went from we want to have some golf and some drinks to now we're hosting a carnival here, and that is truly the zigzag mentality of. By any means, you do whatever it takes. You make a customer happy, you put out a good product, and people will continue to come and support you.
It's the innovation of the founder, right? Because I think at every point you go from a transition where you have to be a builder, and then at a certain point you need to realize I'm not a builder anymore. Now I need to start thinking, and thinking is where it's going to start taking it to the next level. And I think that's something that's common in terms of the most dangerous things you could find in people who start business. Is they fall in love with the building and they never get to the next stage, and that's where they typically fall off or fail, and it doesn't end up coming to fruition and stuff. So I think it's great and amazing that you're mentioning that, because you're talking about, we have to think of the innovation. We have to think of ways, how are people going to come in? In and of itself is almost of its own bootstrap, actually, right? Like Carnival wasn't what we thought this was going to be, but hey, Carnival is going to work, and this is going to help get us to this next step. Let's try it. Let's bootstrap this down. Let's do it. Let's toss it out, and it's going to work.
Yeah, and I think there's one thing I want to, before we talk about what's next for the 19th, one thing that I love that you said, and you said it in 2 different ways. You said, don't bite off more than you can chew, right? Because that's something a lot of people take for granted.
It's going to happen.
Or they,
by the way.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
That's how you learn the lesson.
That's how you learn the lesson, and by nature it's going to happen. But just being conscious of that is also something to keep back pocket. But the thing I like even more about what you said is leave room for growth, right? A lot of people, when they start something, they say, I want this, and this, and they will do this, and this. And then it dies off because what's next, right? So having the insight and having the even foreshadowing, leaving room for, hey, this is going to be down the pipeline, but we don't want to release it yet, right? That's what some of the biggest firms do. I know the technology Apple and Microsoft and Nvidia have in their pipeline. They're decades down the line, but they're not giving it to us now. Right. They're saying we will release in bits and pieces. And I think leaving that room for growth is such an insanely underrated trait that I think you guys have really tapped into, or really more or less mastered from a 19th standpoint. Yeah,
and there is a lot that we're looking forward to, expanding the brand, merchandise. We're today this is like a test model. We're getting these patches, and you can iron them on anything pretty much. Key on the hat that you're wearing, that was actually a event we did with Holly Truckers. So this all goes to some of these things that we're like testing the water of.
It's a comfy hat, man. I like it. It's real comfortable. This is nice.
Shout out to the Holly Truckers crew. They do a great job. We've had a few events with them. You can customize a hat. It's all about the patches that they do, and they bring hats and they'll press them on right there. You can customize them with different logos.
One day? Same day?
Yeah, right there. They set up a hat bar in here. We've done that, I think 2 to 3 times. We actually just had an event for a foundation, the Marley Drew Sullivan Foundation, they did custom patches for Sweet Girl in her honor, in her memory, that they pressed on a bunch of different clothes and logos and stuff. And that was really inspirational that we were able to make a big donation to her foundation. It kind of goes to show you keep doing these little innovation things, events for foundations. Who would have ever thought that we had so much buzz that we can we can just sell off 10% or get off 10% of our revenue and let this hat company come in here and donate all the proceeds from those to a foundation. And we focus on what we're good at, but we also can bring others up and help others. But yeah, the applications and growth. I do want to capitalize on merchandise and the branding. As I mentioned, we've kind of grown into, we had logos ourselves, and then we had them created and designed. And then now we're playing with, different applications of those logos. This is our mascot, Bunker. He's on the cups, on the stuff. He's drinking a transfusion, which is a big proponent of what we do here. It's probably our top selling cocktail. It's a golf course cocktail, grape juice, ginger ale, some vodka in there, lime juice, mixed up good. It's a nice, refreshing drink. We sell a lot here, but yeah, that's what Bunker is. He's holding a cup, and he's walking around with what they call the transfusion cocktail. So yeah, things like that, expanding on, maybe a new cocktail menu, kind of spin off things like that. We have something in the works. I'll plug it. So next year we're going to turn into a Christmas bar. And this is my wife and my landlord's her grandfather, of course. Just a conversation we had, and we're big Christmas people around here, and we had some Christmas decorations and had a big tree actually right where I'm sitting this year, but they said we can do it bigger. And, my wife went to New York over the holidays and saw a Christmas bar and was just kind of in love with it. People come to that bar just to take pictures with the garland or whatever.
Rouse?
I have no idea where she went.
German one?
She was off with some friends, having a good time. I was taking care of kids. So, wherever she went, she did send some pictures. We'll have to catch up on where it was. But, we're going to turn into a Christmas bar next year, have like Christmas cocktails. So like, just to show you, we're like always trying to think of something new and expand. And that's just for like a, food and drink and, keeping the vibe fresh. We're also going to innovate merchandise, leagues. We're going to piggyback off some of this TGL, and really ride that wave. They've created a ton of buzz. Tiger, Rory, and all the golfers have signed up for that. Those, have y'all seen the dollar amounts that people have bought into as limited partners of just like the Atlanta Golf Club, and who has bought into those? It's crazy the flow of dollars into some of those things, and sponsorships here is something that we're also tapping into. We just recently sold a few to some local businesses. They get, a package. One of them's got a sign in our big back private room. It's pretty much like our showcase room that we have back there. We got their logo on the wall. We did a little merch run with them, but we're just scratching the surface on helping other businesses, putting some logos in and around. And we've really been slowly testing things. And not to mention, the games. Full Swing continues to innovate too. They roll out different games, different applications on the simulators. So that keeps things fresh there as well. So competitions there, events. We're still coming up with new types of events. As I mentioned, the carnival, the hat events for the foundations. Now we're doing leagues. And of course, these business happy hours and, birthday parties, retirement parties, things like that. We're going to continue, pushing and, fine tuning our process there. And, learning the service, but not only the presentation and the market education there. That's a big piece of, what can you do here? Somebody looks on the website and they're just like, oh, you can go play golf, or, oh, it may do a little bit more than golf. We do call them multi-sport simulators, but you got to like experience it. And that's something that people come in, they're like, what, wow, I didn't know you could play soccer on these things and, score a goal. And I'm like, yeah, well, we call multi-sport simulators on the website, but it really just doesn't click until you're here and until you see it. And that's where that marketing and education comes in. And you pair that with your baby steps of growth, and that's how you innovate. You keep the vibe fresh and you continue to grow.
How are you able to come up with all this innovation? Because in my opinion, and the way that I see it, it's almost openness to receive ideas rather than being stuck on this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. Because Christmas, bar, carnival, I don't think those were in line with the original thought of this is what we're doing. So like, how are you able to process innovation just so if people want to start journeys like this, they can understand the thought processes?
Well, number one, you listen to your surroundings, your support system. They have ideas. You don't act like you're the only person that can make a good idea or a good decision. You listen to others. Our staff here, our staff here is tremendous. They make me a better person and make it a better business as well. I mentioned you lead by example. Well, everybody can do that. You don't have to be at the top to be a leader. I tell my daughter she needs to wake up and be a leader in her classroom. And partially she doesn't understand what that is, but it's to her it's being a friend and showing others that everybody can have a good time. But you copy and paste that into the business attitude. You listen to people around you. You take advice. You listen to your customers as well. Learned a lot about how, especially in a bar setting, how customers are very, I'll say, entitled. Because they're spending money at your place, so they don't have to. So there is a sense of entitlement, and that learning that dynamic has been very interesting. I mean, it is our place, and they're at our place, but we wouldn't be anything without them. So you listen to them. You take advice. They're not 100% right, but they're right in some capacity. They're saying what they're saying, so you better listen to it. So all those sources of things, you just listen to people and you take baby steps, apply it in baby steps. You don't try to act like you're going to be somewhere, and it's not all you can't accomplish a dream just by snap your fingers. You have to slowly work towards it.
Yeah. I love that. And I think you highlight something so important there is clients, customers, they are right. The cliche, the client is always right. And
right.
While that might be an extreme, they are right a majority of the time.
Yeah.
And I like how you take it in the lens of, they might be entitled, but they don't have to spend money. They don't have to use you.
Yeah, they've earned their entitlement.
Yeah, they've earned they have earned their
because
entitlement.
we wouldn't survive without them. They know that. Yeah.
Exactly. And as we close out this pod here, I know we've taken up a lot of your time, which we're very grateful for. Beautiful venue. We always like to ask our amazing space. We always like to ask our guests, just on brand with the Uncommonality podcast here. What would you say if you were to give advice to someone who is looking to start a business, looking to do something similar to you? What is one uncommon belief, practice, or system that you can credit a good bit of your business philosophy or success to?
Yeah, be a dreamer, and set reasonable standards, work hard, and then you capitalize off the growth. Once you start putting a few small victories together of, people like this idea. The numbers of if I save up, if I have this amount of savings, I can go ahead and put it towards this, which gets me that next hurdle. You have to have that mentality of always setting small goals, not setting the large goals. And that's what I think is the biggest thing I've learned is the large goals are cool and the dreams are cool, but you have to break things out into sections and compartmentalize things and utilize people's strengths and specialties to really leverage meeting those goals, and using your resources, play the hand you're dealt. And always do it with like a smile on your face, and give it your best. You're going to get smacked around a few times, but it's all about how you kind of respond to that, and how you really, when you do get smacked and knocked down, it's how you get up and do something different, or how you overcome that. Now that you know the challenges in your face, what does it take to get around that? Whether it be money, tough conversation, putting in time, a sleepless night or three, whatever it is, you got to figure it out and act like you can do it. You can reach your end, the cool dream goal if you keep setting small hurdles. And to me, that's the biggest thing about entrepreneurship that I've learned is dreams are cool, of course, but you can't reach anywhere near that level without starting on a foundation and building off that baby step at a time.
That was beautifully said. I don't even think we need to comment on that.
That was perfect.
Yeah, so as we kind of wrap up, thank you for Harrison. That was great. Thank you for that.
It's good to have you on here.
Yeah,
It's great to be here.
It's great to be here. Like, this is our first experience coming out here and trying the event spaces, so we're grateful for you just allowing us to try that. I've had a lot of fun with it. This space is amazing. I hope a lot of people come and check it out because it's great for parties. It's great for business. It's great for just to come enjoy yourself, keep the swing crispy, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, so kind of as we close out, if you want to just plug everything you guys kind of have, so 19th at the Warehouse, the socials, websites, things like that, your personals, whatever it might be, always kind of plug it up in space.
There we go. Yeah, 19th at the Warehouse is on White is our full business name, long on purpose. We've been trying to shorten it to the 19th in the community to be known as the 19th. All of our handles are 19th at the Warehouses. We're 19th at the warehouses.com. We're at 19th at the Warehouses, Instagram, Facebook, find us. I'm Harrison Dixon. Check, I'm all over the Instagram page, Charles Colson, of course. Got a lot of good staff, very supportive there. Be on the lookout for leagues. We're starting up our golf league. We're almost full. So if people are interested, then they better jump on it. And the events, we're always booking those out. So I would encourage reaching out on the website. That's where we do most of our communication. We got an event form right there. Either myself or Charles normally would reach out to you and schedule an event, show you our little event flyer and how we do things. We've got some catering and cool options coming. We've just discovered some partners and going to try to do the kitchen a little bit bigger this next upcoming year and innovate there as well. So 19th at the Warehouses. Thank you guys so much for coming. Hopefully we can get you swinging a few golf clubs. See if y'all can knock a few on the green. And please feel free to come back anytime.
Well, we won't hit them like you, but one thing before we close this out, we will plug a code into the description for any of our viewers who do feel inclined to come check out 19th at the Warehouses, which I highly, highly recommend from a personal standpoint. I've been here before multiple times to support Harrison and Colson with their ventures, and honestly just to have fun, because this place is brilliant and I recommend it to anyone. So we'll plug a code in for our viewers, and you can get a little bit of a discount. We haven't quite quite know what that'll look like, but
book a bay. You'll be able to book a bay on our website at a discounted rate. And we'll use uncommon or uncommonality. We'll plug it right below.
Zigzag route.
I like that too. We might have a limit on characters, so we'll follow up there.
We'll plug it. Don't worry.
There we go. Absolutely. Yeah.
So so Sal plugs us.
Just same old at Uncommonality Podcast on all socials, and then me personally _ Sal A. Perez if you do ever want to reach out.
Keon Alberto _ got the Instagram going, baby. But with that said, Harrison, thank you so much again. This place is awesome. Everybody, please come check it out. It's an awesome space. I'm sure everybody would have a great time. Some business deals can get done and a lot of other fun stuff. Without further ado, this has been another episode on Uncommonality Podcast, and we hope you guys check it out and watch next time. So, peace out, guys.
Thanks, guys.